Infamous Second Son has an ESRB rating of T for teen. That's for blood, drug reference, language, sexual themes, and violence.
You see, we are engaged in a life and death war with these bioterrorists, and it's my job to do whatever it takes to ensure that we win that war.
What? It's kind of funny because aren't you a bioterrorist too? Okay.
Yes, I am. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. And it's clear now that you're not a coward, which means there's something that you're not telling me.
What are you doing? You can't do this, you crazy! I've got rights!
And I have the legal authority to suspend those rights whenever I feel it's necessary, like now, for instance. I'll ask again. What happened in there?
And I will tell you again.
I'm told that hurts.
Maybe I know what happened in there!
No! Betty, don't!
Really? Still nothing. Well, unless you decide that you do have something to tell me, I'll go chat with that nice old lady. But you should know, concrete is especially hard on brittle bones. And if she doesn't talk, I'll just move on to the next one, and the next, until I find someone who does. So do you have something you want to tell me? Or do you prefer that I move on to your friends here?
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Is It Worth It? And on today's Mental, I'm actually reviewing an old title from this new generation of consoles, and that's Infamous Second Son for the PlayStation 4. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share and like the video. And now, with no further delay, here is my review of Infamous Second Son. It's funny, when I first heard of this game, I was actually interested in it simply because I heard so many nice things about the first two games, Infamous and Infamous 2. Now keep in mind, I never played those other titles, so in my opinion, it's solely on this game alone and not in any progression, if there is any in the series. So, is this game really worth it? Well, here are my thoughts. So this was a launch title for the PS4, and it was supposed to show all its graphical achievements, and for the most part, yes, the game looks good. But is it a good game? Honestly, what had grabbed my interest in this game was the concept of having an X-Men-like powers and becoming a champion for the people, or a menace to society. And the choices to do so are here as the choices you make. The people either praise you or they fear you. I always liked being the good guy, so all my choices were morally and emotionally motivated for doing the right thing.
You think they're gonna welcome you?
No, but I'm gonna be different, okay? I'm not there doing what they do. I'm there to save lives. I'm gonna be like Superman. I'll be healing the sick.
The hero. What,
and-
you think they're gonna throw you a parade? Wake up, man.
That's just who I am, and I like being the good guy. The game is in the third-person view, where you run around in an open-world city of Seattle. The city has been put under heavy military lockdown or a siege as you try to save other special interest people or conduits, individuals with superpowers that the government wants to round up and hold captive. Sounds very much like the stories from the X-Men, right? Well, there's more to the story than that. Sort of.
Join the lynch mob, horrified by the thought of conduits hiding among them. We'd hurt no one, but they could only see us as monsters.
You play as Delson, a hipster graffiti artist who finds out that he has power of taking other people's powers and keeping them as his own. Kinda like Rogue from the X-Men, except he doesn't kill them when he sucks their powers out of them. An auto accident happens near his hometown and some people escape from captivity, and his grandmother or someone close to him gets attacked by the government's queen bee, a woman named Augustine, who is working for the government and is hunting down her own kind. The story isn't very original. In fact, the entire premise is laid down for you from the start. Delson wants to find the escaped conduits, get their powers, and then go after Augustine for the final battle. That's the whole story. There is no mystery, no long cutscenes, or intrigue. It's just there. And that is what this game experience feels like. Just there.
This is gonna be awesome!
Now, Delson has the ability of manipulating molecules or something, and you start off with smoke. You can pull the smoke off of anything in flames or smokestacks and transform it to smoke and dash forward in small bursts. Now, it doesn't end there. You can also develop projectile powers and even power slams to take out a swarming enemy. As you progress through the game and you meet other conduits, their abilities become yours and your arsenal of powers extend to neon, video, and concrete. Now, if you think you become a god after having all these powers, well, you are going to be disappointed. Simply put, all your powers, even though some are pretty cool to use, are very limited and can be exhausted if overused. Throughout the gameplay, you must replenish all your powers because they deplete quite quickly, and this can be a problem during combat, especially during boss battles. You'll be vulnerable to attacks while you're trying to pull energy from the different powers you got. And here is a problem, or at least a pet peeve that I had with the game. You can't have all the powers all at once. You must choose which of the 4 you want to use before you go into battle. Now, if you are doing a side mission, if you get in trouble, you can try to run away and find a new source for power, but sometimes you'll be in environments where the power you want to use, you can't, because the power source is not available for that region or that district. So you'll be stuck with one you may not necessarily like. And that's another problem. Your powers are also restricted to the environment. For instance, if you want to travel with smoke, you can only do small dash, small burst forward before you just uncontrollably just reappear. You can only unlock 2 small bursts for smoke, but if you want to, let's say, go up and fly into the air, you can't. You must use a city ventilation system to shoot you upwards on top of the roof. And if you want to travel the skies with smoke, forget it. Only 2 small bursts, remember? And if you don't reach another rooftop, it's all the way down you go. Don't worry, you don't die. But this is what I mean by having limited powers, or the powers are limited to their full potential. Same goes for the other powers. If you use neon, you can only run up walls at lightning speed. But if you run out of wall, it's over. Find another wall to run up again. Now, there is an unlockable infinite run, but who wants to run up walls? Videos seem cool, but then again, small bursts of flight before you are going down. You can use dish satellites to boost you or catapult you high into the air and then try to make further flights, but why can't I just fly? I just wanted to fly. The AI, or the DOP soldiers, were okay. Of course, there were different levels of soldiers. There were your basic street soldiers, but the more you progressed through the game, the more armored and weaponized their abilities got. They were, for the most part, simple to defeat, but they could be overwhelming in numbers. But I think the point was to show off your powers by slamming them down with your strongest abilities. Now, like I said, this game is an open world, but the city of Seattle isn't very well realized. In fact, the city felt artificial for the purpose of the game's mechanic and military occupation, but none of the different districts look different from one another. Every block looked the same, the settings of the city never looked different. The only things that I noticed were the power sources were different for each district. But other than that, it was the same designs everywhere, and it's sad too because the world is split into northern and southern islands, and yet they had no personality of their own, just plain looking backgrounds of shops and cafes. There is a large skill tree to unlock all the possible powers, but some are locked indefinitely depending if you want to be a good guy or a bad guy. This seemed a little frustrating. Why can't I just unlock all of them despite my choices that I make? The voice acting was good, and so were the animations, but I'll be honest, the story's lead character, Delson, was lame to me. His personality was good, and I also liked the conversations with his brother during scenes and gameplay, but that hipster emo look was just dumb. I thought I could change his appearance of clothing because there seemed to be a hint of it in the menu screen, But no, it's a default look for him. At least in Watch Dogs, we were able to change his patterns and colors of the outfit. I don't know why they hint in here that you can change his outfit and then not give the option. It just didn't make any sense to me. The controls were good enough to use and navigate. The game takes use of the PlayStation 4 DualShock controller motion features. So, like, there are moments where you can actually move the controller around and you can actually spray paint on walls and stuff. I don't know why you just couldn't use the analog stick. But anyways, it's there, as well as some of the touchpad for moving objects and tearing open fences and stuff in the game.
Ha ha ha! Turns out they're Achilles.
So is
heel
Infamous
with their
Second
asses.
Son worth it? Well, when I first heard of the game, I was really interested in it and I couldn't wait to play it. And now that I have, it's done and I'm over it. The replayability is slightly above average. There is plenty to do in the game, many side quests and activities, but the limited powers can kill your motivations to perform all of the quests. You might find one that you like, which for me was the video power. That's when you turn into a battling angel and you could stay in flight longer, as well as take advantage of flying up walls. Like, it was the best part of the best of the two powers previously. And since you can't change powers at your will, this also limits interest in pursuing entertainment in the liberation of the districts. Also, looking for power shards to upgrade your powers felt like a chore. Having to hunt down these drones for shards was tedious and overwhelming when you saw how many you needed. The character design was a bad one in my opinion, since he looked kind of like a douche to me. I don't know what it was, I just didn't like his look. The personality was fine, and so was the voice acting, and a great job on the motion captures, but that's really it. I think the character creation would have been great for this game. Mass Effect did an exemplary job in letting the gamer choose and create their character for their default story. And in this game, this would have been a great feature, as I could not relate to or have any empathy for Delsin. This is one of those games where people may ask you, what did you think of the game? And your best answer is, it was okay. I'd rent this title, but if you want it in your collection, get it at $19.99. It's not a bad game, it's just not extraordinary. If you guys are interested in the opinions of other sites, here they are.
Game Boy and I over there are going to have a little conversation, conduit to conduit.
Yeah, thanks everyone who has been sharing these
No
reviews in
normals,
your social
allowed.
websites. I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for upcoming reviews and Let's Plays. Please feel free to check out previous reviews and tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments below. My name is Rox, and I'll catch up with you guys next time.